Yeah, I think it's been a disappointing season. Obviously, we'd like to have had better results. I've been very encouraged with the second half of the season since we only got 2 points in the first half. But we won 4 out of our last 7 games, so that's kind of back to, and one of them a rained-out game, so that's back to kind of the consistency that you need. So we started to really get things going in the second half of the year. But unfortunately, in IPL, you have a bad start, you're always going to be struggling. So it's been disappointing. I think we've struggled in certain areas that we thought we would be okay in. So for next year, we're going to have to make sure that we kind of build some strength in those specific areas.
Gary, it's RCB always at the start of an IPL season, they're looked at as one of the favorites or the stronger teams, but it's been a lot of times that, they've not finished in the top 4. Do you think there's any structural changes that are needed? And also you said there are some areas that you weren't this thing. Can you specify which are those areas?
Yeah, it's a good question. I think there are some structural changes that need to be made that have maybe been around for quite a long time. So, this is my first year as the head coach. So, I've got a better understanding of what those are. And we'll certainly discuss with the owners and look into that for next year. It's not difficult to work out the areas that we've struggled. Those are seen in the matches. Again, when you look at the beginning before IPL starts and you look at every team, I think there was some of the experts saying that we were going to get into the playoffs. So all teams have got strengths in them, and all teams have weaknesses. And you've got to hide those weaknesses as best you can and make sure your strengths are working really well. And if they're not, and you're losing games on the line, makes a big difference. 2 big games that cost us that we should have won at the beginning of the season was Mumbai Indians here and Kolkata Knight Riders here. And we lost both those games, having played really good cricket for 95% of the game. Literally in 12 balls the game changed, even 6 balls. So those kind of games, if you're not winning them, they start to affect you big time in the season, because we know that IPL is incredibly unpredictable. And that games that you should be winning, you need to win.
Gary, how do you approach tomorrow's game as a chance to dent Sunrisers' chance of playoffs, or to give the players who have not played much of the game time?
Yeah, we've missing 3 or 4 players now, and key players for us. I think probably one of the toughest things we've had to deal with this season is our international fast bowler never arrived in Coulter now for 2 years actually. So that's been quite a tough thing to deal with, and we're going in tomorrow's game to want to win it, and we've picked the team that we think is best suited to win that game.
Gary, you all brought about a lot of structural change in your coaching staff as well this year. You'll had a few consultants coming in at the beginning of the season. How has that panned out for you all? Did it work? Didn't it work?
No, it's been good. I've enjoyed the new coaches that we've had on board. Everyone's trying to find their feet. Unfortunately, there are no quick fixes in IPL. You need to move as quickly as you can, obviously, to get the results you're looking for. But sometimes when you do making quite a lot of shifts for players that we believe in and back, I think the franchises that do a lot of chopping and changing every year run into problems, because IPL is not about an individual performing every IPL. It just is not going to happen. But if you keep backing that guy, he's going to come good for you in one season.
Probably from the 7th game onwards, Virat has repeatedly spoken about going and having fun, going and enjoying themselves and expressing themselves. And at one stage, he also said that the pressures in the first 6 games, when you're expected to win, sort of weighed the team down. So how do you react to that?
My view is you're only having fun when you're winning. So I understand the point he's making, but I think it's always tough when you're not winning games. IPL is an incredibly intense competition. In my view, in domestic T20 cricket around the world, there's nothing even remotely like it. And I think all the players feel the pressure. especially guys that are new to IPL come here with their eyes wide open. They cannot believe how intense the games are. Senior players, feel that pressure as well. So it's a big tournament, and you need to understand how to prepare yourself in such a way that you are going to be best suited to performing in this event. So that's always the plan when we leave here and make sure we get guys ready. But as you have said rightly, one of you had said rightly, you've got to have a good start in these tournaments. If you on the back foot early and you've lost most of your games, you're going to get in trouble the second half. So we try to pull it back. I thought did a reasonably good job in pulling it back in the second half, but it was always going to be tough winning 7 out of 7.
Gary, if you see the history of if you see the history of IPL, it's all about the Indian players. Actually, I think 6 or 7 Indian players will play. And if you see the performances of the Indian players in one unit, in one team, they have gone to win, titles. Let it be Rajasthan Royals, CSK, and Mumbai Indians. So if you see RCB, I think they're lacking in that performance from 7 Indian players. One is Virat Kohli, always comes out with great guns. So are you satisfied with the kind of auctioning which has happened over the years for RCB?
Well, I certainly have not been part of a major auction with RCB, so it's a difficult question for me to answer. Sorry. All I'm doing is I've been in a small auction, so that's a slightly different equation. Yeah.